skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Welcome back to another episode of the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. Coming back at you after another hiatus. That time of year, really. It's January. It's silly season. I suppose silly season's kind of come and gone, but we're grouping it all together.
Maybe
January,
for those muggles
December.
that work a normal job, the silly season's done and dusted. But we're what, two and a half. I think I'm back due in on
the sun's still out every day.
Like
it still feels like holidays.
2 weeks to go, and then we're back into it, us old teachers. But it is. I guess you can still say it's the silly season. It's nice and warm. The sun's out. It's and there's been a little bit more sport back underway. There's been
plenty of cricket going on, which is good to see.
Plenty of cricket. We've seen the ending of the World Champs there in the darts, and we're less than a month away now from our first pre-season game of footy. So it won't be long until we're back into some league, which will be nice.
Yeah, bring it on. It's that sweet spot of year, isn't it? When you've got Premier League, cricket season still going, coming to an end. The footy's up and running. By that time, we've probably got A-League playoffs to worry about, which is not usually something football fans on this side of the Tasman have to worry about. But new team on the block. We'll see what happens there. But yeah,
falling away at the moment though.
Yeah, it's
poor performance there Saturday night. I did end up watching that game up against Perth, and I think they've fallen apart. Dan Hall losing him to injury, and now Sakai's out for 3 or 4 weeks as well. Taking a knock there, so it's a tough time for Auckland. I think there's some that's third at the moment, but still plenty of footy to be played.
Yeah, it's always hard to live up to expectations when you come out and win your first 6 games.
Exactly, yeah. There has been a little bit of NRL news ticking along there over the last little bit. Some news coming out of the Dragons there yesterday. Gutho and Cookie named as your co-captains. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, look, I think obviously Gutho probably one of the more obvious choices amongst the squad. It was whether you're going to go for someone that had been at the club previously or not. You've probably got Jack Dribble and Jaden Sewer probably as the only 2 realistic options for our captaincy. Dribble maybe not as much of an 80-minute. Yeah, look, Blake Lawrie was probably 2 or 3 years ago charging towards it, being our next captain, but a quiet year under Flano last year. Yeah, it's a tough one. Blake Lawrie obviously in the mix, but yeah, probably doesn't get enough starting minutes under the belt to be club captain. Jack Dribble, whether or not, just history sort of didn't play too well in his favour there, and whether they just wanted to steer clear of that. He's captained the side before, but I don't know. A little bit of a hiccup in Dribble career, obviously, has probably put that one to bed. Jaden Sewer, maybe not obvious captain material on the face of it. Gutho, sure. Cookie, a little bit of a strange one.
That's whether or not he played over little after seeing the season that he had last year.
I think Cookie will certainly start. Probably more games than Little will. But yeah, you're right. Little had a breakout season last year. He's certainly looking at the very worst sharing those minutes with Cookie. Maybe getting a 20, 30 minutes stint in there at hooker, and whether or not we use him as another running forward for another 20, 30 minutes there. But yeah, no. 2 new captains to get behind, co-captains. As I say, Gutho, reasonably stoked with that. Can see why they did it. Cookie is a little bit left field to go co-captaincy with them.
Yeah,
2 newbies.
It is an interesting one. Yeah, the old the 2 new incoming players.
It worked really well for the Doggies last year. They had Crichton come in, take the reins off Reid Marnie there. Obviously, different scenario here for the Dragons, the incumbent moving up to Brisbane there. But yeah, worked for the Doggies, so fingers crossed it can work similarly in our favour.
Speaking of the Doggies, they've managed to nab Leo Thompson there on a little 4-year deal from the Knights. It's a pretty solid signing there. He's had a couple of seasons now, but last year probably his big season there where he's come through.
Yeah, really had a, I guess, breakout year, you'd call it last year. Sort of rose from being an up-and-coming, promising young forward to probably one of the better forwards in the game. Obviously had a handful of tests for the Kiwis now as well, so he's got that experience under his belt. I'm sure the Doggies are stoked with that. It's probably one thing they are really lacking at the moment is a real premier middle forward there, and Leo Thompson certainly ticks the box for the next years going forward if he can continue his rise.
Yep, well and truly. Yeah, I think it's a real good signing there for the Doggies. Another one to add to the mix there, and whether we see them push on this year and go that.
Newcastle might not be too unhappy with it either because they've got his twin brother coming in this year, don't they?
I think you're right. I think it is 2025 that he arrives. So, yeah, it's a good signing there for the Doggies. A little bit of news there coming out of the Wars as well. Tohu Harris hanging up the boots a little bit earlier than probably expected.
Yeah, look, Tohu Harris, class player. Probably did have another couple of years in him, just sort of based on what you've seen other players punch out nowadays. And, I think 230 something first grade games for Tohu. A lot of injuries in there as well. So
yeah, definitely could have had a few more.
Out in the middle there, he came through. Did he play in the middle his whole career, or did he come through more of as a back rower?
Pretty sure he came through back rower there
for the
Storm days before moving more into the middle there.
Yeah, that's right.
The Warriors.
The 12 on
I look at it as in maybe sort of just trying to jump a sinking ship, possibly. And a cheeky little dig there.
That, but I think.
But no, I definitely do think he's a decorated player there, Tohu Harris, and he's definitely a fair few injuries that have plagued him over the years that could have stopped him from going that little bit further. Big loss for the Warriors, I think, with the loss of Fanua Blake and also losing Toru there as well.
3 huge, but yeah, and Sean Johnson obviously as well.
Yeah, but I wasn't really there last year.
Experience though, it's what 600-700 first grade games they're losing there.
It's a lot of footy.
Fanua Blake, obviously you got more of a like for like replacement, probably not in the typical terms of what you might call like for like, but one gun front rower leaves and another comes in. Don't exactly want to say no dramas there, but yeah, no, Tohu Harris leaves another big hole there for the Warriors. So interesting one. To see how they can come
see how the Warriors line up. I think.
I think that's also a nod to another newbie potentially getting a captaincy there. Fisher Harris. Do you reckon he gets the Warriors captaincy? I think it's a pretty obvious choice. Kiwis captain
makes a lot of sense, especially if that's what I think.
Because who else?
Me personally, it's the only difference that he brings in.
Who else is there at the Warriors?
Leadership.
I mean, Roger could be the captain. But
yeah, again,
again, I think Roger
I do, and I stand by it though. Probably until I may get proven wrong halfway through the season. I think the only improvement that Fisher Harris brings to the Warriors and Fanua Blake is leadership.
Yeah,
I think Fanua Blake, every other box, better player, without a doubt. And that is the only thing, and it's the culture. It's the change of culture that I'm trying to change the Warriors into a winning team. They had it there that little bit there, not last year, the year before, where they managed to snag a few wins with the help of the 14th man there at Mount Smart.
Yeah.
But again, I honestly think that's
sort of fell away quite quickly.
The only thing he brings in is the change in leadership and the change in culture. So I think if you were Webster and everyone else involved in the Warriors and you didn't put Fisher Harris as captain, you'd be making a huge mistake.
Yeah. I think that's well said. Yeah, huge mistake if the Warriors don't capitalise on that opportunity there. It's the stars are aligning, I suppose, for big James Fisher Harris. But yeah, other than that, really, I haven't seen too much else in terms of the rugby league there. Yeah, mostly just Gutho and Cookie been dominating the feeds the last couple of days,
Just that funny
particularly.
looking photo of
Yeah.
Gutho, really. That's
What
probably
have they
about it.
done to him? Have
That's
they
probably about it that
photoshopped
I've
Nathan?
seen.
Everyone reckons they photoshopped Nathan Lyon's head onto him.
I think it's just one of those unfortunate things where there's been some sort of mix up with the dimensions of the photo or something like that, and there's
Parramatta editor, bit dirty on him, maybe.
possibly something along those lines. But yeah, that's probably been the main thing I've seen there over the last wee while. It's not been the greatest of times to be an Arsenal fan. I've got to
It's
say.
been a rough week, that's for sure.
It's very, very, very reminiscent of
January's gone by, really.
2010. Was it 2010? When was it? 2011.
2011 January.
2011. Well, that
January,
just that
February.
period of what 8 days or whatever we lost 4 competitions at once. So it is. It's been a really tough last couple of weeks out of the FA Cup, out of the Carabao Cup. Pretty much. I don't see ourselves.
Yeah, you can pretty much chalk that one up. Going to have to take a 3-goal win up at St James's Park is very, very unlikely the way we've been playing. Looked good 2 weeks ago. First game of the year up against Brentford. Scored three goals after going 1 down. It's all looking pretty rosy there, but then a little bit of a hiccup against Brighton there. Debatable penalty.
Yeah.
Whether or not you want to say Saliba's just headbutted old what's his name, Pedro?
Yeah, it's
or whether he's got a
nick
nick on the ball. To be fair, I don't think we deserved anything out of that second half there. So yeah, if we weren't conceding for the penalty, I think we were probably going to concede some other way, shape, or form there in that one. Because ever since then, you said the defeats up against Newcastle and Man United. Look, everyone's been saying it. I think if you look at Arsenal with maybe not so biased eyes, everyone has probably seen it since Aubameyang left. We haven't replaced him.
No, not at all.
We've given it a couple of good cracks there. Jesus, unfortunately, just hasn't had the fitness record there. You can probably give him that one. Havertz, look, he tries his heart out. He busts the gut. He runs more than anyone else.
That's all it is. He's not a striker.
Exactly. He's not a clinical striker.
The chance that he missed there against United. I mean, the fact that I got up at 4 a.m. to watch this game, I really. Obviously, holidays, it's a different kettle of fish. You can get up, you can watch a game, you can then watch us have 4 or 5 terrible attempts at saving a penalty from Raya. And then you can go back to bed, which is quite nice, I've got to say, rolling back and going back to sleep at that time in the morning. But one of the chances that Havertz missed, it was diabolical how bad it was.
The one at cross goal? It was like 2 yards out.
Yeah, and he's
skied it.
Sky. It's outrageous. Like, he's not a striker. We need someone to come in and score some goals. We need someone that can pick up the slack when Saka doesn't perform, and when Odegaard's not performing, because he's not performing and Saka's not there. So
I think
it's a really tough one.
Yeah, I mean it's no coincidence that Odegaard has had a bit of a drop in form with Saka out of the side. We know how strong their link-up play has been over the last 2 or 3 years since we brought Odegaard in, really. But yeah, hasn't bounced back from that injury quite with the same form. Whether or not he's carrying a niggle there, or whether just the whole form of the team is sort of getting to his head. He doesn't seem to be quite his usual free self out there. It's looking really, really laborious, almost boring, to watch at the moment, particularly if you weren't an Arsenal fan. You wouldn't be watching them at the moment.
100% boring to watch. The game against
The only
United,
reason,
I thought was
the only
crap.
reason it's not boring is because I'm an Arsenal fan.
I was bored. 100% I was bored in
Yeah.
that United game. It was crap. We played terrible.
It's like possession. Like we
The fact that
dominate
we
possession.
the fact that we didn't end up scoring another goal by the time that Dalo got sent off and they went down to 10 men, I think is just diabolical. I mean, fuck, we've got. Honestly, we're at the stage now. If you're going to put Butler or Yidji on the bench, start him. Give him a fucking go. Like, let him play up top for a game and see if he can do anything. Jesus can't score. We know that. Havertz can't score. We know that. I mean, God, like, it's making. I know he never did anything with his move, but fuck, I'd love to have someone like a Bellingham still on our books.
Yeah.
Who's a goal, make a B-Rath, goal scorer. Scoring, I know it's Austria, Sturmgras, but they score goals, and that's what we need at the moment. Is someone to get out there and finish a chance. Like,
yeah, because especially once Saka does come back, it's not like there's a lack of chances there. I mean,
do we get Isaac over the line? Probably not. We're not going to get him in January.
I don't see us getting him at all, let alone in January. It's going to take a huge transfer fee, and just with financial fair play at the moment,
I don't see. There's still talk about Gyökeres, whether he moves to somewhere. I'd take him. You've also got that.
he's a goal scorer. He's
is it Marmouche? Marmouche, Frankfurt, the striker at Frankfurt. He scored 14 goals and got 10 assists this year. I think it is.
Okay.
Marmouche.
This
season.
Oh fuck! I was going to say. Only 2 weeks gone in the year.
Not this year. No. This season.
Is
it Omar Marmouche? Marmouche, I think it is. Probably your most informed player in Europe at the moment, I would say.
Yeah. To be fair, we could go out there and get someone big. It's just finding someone with the I guess the need to sell, or
we just need to find someone who wants to come and play. It's gonna have to be from a team lower. It's not gonna be someone that's like.
Could you go and get either Duran or Watkins from Villa? They've got 2 really good number 9s.
Yep, someone like that we know would be good.
They'd come in and score. You'd think Watkins would be at least 20.
Yeah, you'd hope so with someone like Saka there with him. You know what I mean?
15 plus there.
But yeah, we need a striker. We've got what? Spurs. Is it this weekend?
Spurs on Thursday morning.
Thursday morning. What time's that?
Well, it'll probably be like an 8 or 9 kickoff.
Okay.
So it's a Wednesday nighter over there. And then we've got Villa on Sunday or Monday.
Thursday 9 a.m. And then it will be a Monday. Yeah, you'll be right.
Yeah.
Monday. No. Is it Tuesday morning? No. Is it Sunday? Sunday morning, 6:30.
They must have a big, another big game there on the Monday. But yeah, look, it's a huge week. Look, to be fair, another missed opportunity up against Brighton. You'd have to say even the most hopeful of Arsenal fans are thinking it's very, very slim chances now. But you never want to lose a North London derby. So it's going to be a huge week. Turn it around. You beat Spurs. You beat Villa. You see how things are shaping up from there. Maybe you can come into that Newcastle game in a bit of goal scoring form. Not sure if that's after the Villa game there, but those are the next 2 on Forza, so I'll pop them in there. Yeah, look, it's slow. It's quickly changed from a season of expectation to a season of great hope for Arsenal fans there.
I think it's a season of waiting for next year already. I think it's going to be hard for anyone to
some more transfer. Well, yeah, Liverpool will be. You'll need to catch them on an off day, that's for sure. In terms of the Champions League, FA Cup, did they win their round 3?
Yep, they're through that in the FA Cup.
Look, they've obviously their second leg is a lot more manageable. Obviously, only the 1 goal deficit there up against Tottenham. Speaking of Tottenham, though, as our next opponents, left it late against Liverpool, even though that is a very impressive win, and left it even later up against Tamworth there, going Going to extra time, obviously
Bullshit,
3-0.
bring back the replay.
Yeah, look,
it's rubbish. Like,
this is one of those things where, the Premier League teams have obviously got in the FA's ear.
also
They're
they can
sick
go
of
and
the
play
replays.
Newcastle in Australia, pretty much.
Yeah,
So they can go away. So that teams can go away to do pre-season tours.
they're all complaining about, oh yeah, there's too many games in the calendar. Then yeah, can you weird game in
Pre-season
Melbourne
tour, or Sydney or wherever it is,
or
against
China
Newcastle?
because you're grabbing millions of dollars? Like, surely
You don't need the money, Daniel Levy and fucking Sheik, whoever you are that's at Newcastle. You've clearly got the money already. So, yeah, it's a weird one. Tamworth's probably feeling pretty robbed that they weren't able to go back to
what Hart Lane there, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium,
back
whatever
to
it's
Tottenham
called.
for a game. They would have got more of their fans and they would have made more money.
They would have made a bucket load of money, but I'm pretty sure FA Cup you have to split the money 50-50.
Something along those lines. They've made enough money that they've been able to offer their gaffer a full-time gig now. He'd been doing it part-time, bit of teaching, a little bit of that. And
their conference league, or are they lower than that?
I think, yeah. So they probably were feeling a little bit robbed there.
Shout out Tom Tonks, best long throw.
Outrageous.
Shits on Rory Gillat's almost.
What about
the 3 or 4 yards?
The centre back who got player of the match, who absolutely turned? Was it Werner and was it Werner and Kulusevski maybe? Yeah. Centre back doing a Cruyff turn. It wasn't a Cruyff turn.
Tamworth almost scored after like 30 seconds, bro. It was insane.
It would have been an amazing result to see. But yeah, fingers crossed. A couple of wins coming up against Spurs, up against Villa, and then see what we can do in this Newcastle tie.
Yeah, fingers crossed that there's some goals in the lads. Because it's been pretty shit watching lately. But I don't believe we have announced. Not that we're announcing anything really here, but I think we believe we've discussed the winner.
We haven't touched on the end of the World Champs. No, you're right. Obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, you'd be well aware now that Luke Vanoot went out and took that.
He's capped off his year of meteoric rise.
He sure has. He's taken that World Championship throne, beating MBG there in the final. Kind of trouncing him in the final, to be fair. What was it? I can't even remember now. Was it? I want to say 7-3.
I think so.
It was final score. Watched it out there on the golf course. A well-deserved winner. Like you said, it's a meteoric year. It's a year of just a year of winning. It's got him up to second. Second there only to Luke Humphries, obviously, with last year's prize-winning money. And it's seen him, like you said, it's capped off a huge year for him, not only in terms of just his darting achievements, but his achievements outside and what he's done for sports, for younger people, and just a huge result there for the Nuke. We've seen the Premier League be announced, so we get back into that soon. We've got no Dimitri Vandenberg, in comes Stephen Bunting. Is that your only change? Or did we see no Peter Wright? Why do I feel like Peter Wright was not in there this year as well? Who's replaced him? Who did we have last year? We had...
Next season.
I feel like we've had a replacement as well as Bunting, or is it just Bunting? So, yeah, there we go. So, Dobie back in. That's who it was. That's what I was thinking. Dobie's back in, replacing Peter Wright. I guess you could look at it like that way. And then Stephen Bunting coming in as well. A lot of talk about people like Mike Decker being a little bit hard done by. Aspinall shouldn't be in there. It's a tough one. I think it's for the Premier League. What's it going over? 20 weeks or so? It's not just about the darting ability. I think someone like which is why I think you've kept Peter Wright in there last year, making the money. It's a draw card. A lot of people think Aspinall's just in there because of his walk-on. Mr. Brightside, and it just gets the crowd going, and it will. It's a hard one. I don't know if Mike DeDecker had done really enough, or Richie Edhouse, the two that major winners, that they're nowhere near the top 16. I think someone like Damon Hedder, probably really hard done by. He had a huge season. I think he was sitting there at like 9th or 10th. Someone like maybe Dave Chisnell. But then again, both of them didn't have very good world championships. Both getting knocked out fairly early. Obviously, Bunting made it through to the semi-final. Dobie made it through to the semis or quarters. Did he beat Gerwin Price? I think he also made it to a semi-final. Did he lose to MVG and then Bunting lost to Luke Whitlow? I think is how I remember. Yeah, Dobie lost in the semi-final. So there you go. Two players that have had good runs in the World Championships, and that's what's going to have that effect. We've seen the Bahrain Darts Masters. They've been announced. So those are your players now. Bunting's going to be going away on a lot of that now, which is, I think, really good for him. And you've also seen the what's the word I'm looking for there? The finishing up the ending of Q School. Ben Robb went away. First session looked like he'd done a really good job. I think he was sitting there about 21st, needing to get into that top 12. I think it was to push on, but not having as successful of a second day, not able to follow in Hopai Puha's footsteps there to snag that tour card. But obviously hopes he now gets to have his second year there on the tour, so there'll be more chances for him to go out there, make a little bit more money. Hopefully we can see him have a few runs in some tournaments, have a good run in a Players' Championship, get some money, sneak into that top 64, and then you get involved in the match play, and that's when some more chances for some money can come in. But yeah, a little bit unfortunate there for the big rig over the weekend, but I believe they're off to, I want to say must be this weekend, Bahrain. Is it this weekend or next? And then they head off to, is it the Dutch Darts Masters? Might be our next thing there. Dutch Darts Masters field's just been announced. Bahrain Darts Masters field confirmed. Is that this weekend? There we go, January 16th to 17th. So that's not just this weekend. That's must be kicking off Thursday morning. There over in Bahrain. Luke Whitlow obviously going out there on following his World Championship loss last year and winning the Bahrain Darts Masters. That was his big win there to start off the year. So he'll be looking to go out there and do it again. He capped it off with a 9 data. So it'll be interesting to see how this year goes, because there's plenty of room for movement. We've seen Michael Smith. He's dropped down to 16 after having a poor run there at the World Champs and not being able to what's the word there that I'm looking for? When you're doing something the second year in a row, you're trying to do it the second year in a row. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Consistency.
You're like
backing it up.
Like another word for backing it up. You're maybe backing it up is the word exactly.
Pretty much, yeah.
But he's not been able to go out there and
capitalize on it
and get any of that money back in the bank. So he's fallen off. So it's going to be a year of lots of movement, I think, 2025. Probably wraps us up for another short week there at this time of the year. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to get involved in all your socials. Give us a like, give us a 5-star, get subscribed. Enjoy your week ahead. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy whatever sports you may be getting yourselves involved with. If you're having a punt, do it responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you here next time.
Yeah, sounds good to me. We'll see you then.
Ciao.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win